Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be doing a tutorial on this really cute pumpkin bracelet. I hope that this is helpful for you, and just let's begin. Okay, so to make this pumpkin bracelet right here, you need 3 colors: green, black, and orange. Or any colors really you want. I'm just going to do the colors that are in the pattern. You could do a white background, or you could change the colors of the pumpkin, whatever you want to do, you know. To cut your strings, we're going to cut the green one first. So to cut your strings, the green one only calls for 1 string. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your string and extend your arms out, well, 1 arm, and then you are going to just put the string in the very center of your chest. So like if I have it here and I go up, that's where my chest is, you know. So now you will add a few inches to your string and cut it. So basically what I'm trying to say here is just cut your string half a wingspan's length. And I'm sure if you're doing this bracelet, you probably know how to cut your strings, so just cut it half a wingspan's length. And you have your first string cut. You don't need anything else from the green. That is all you need for the green string. So now let's move on to orange. So for the orange string, you need to cut 3 strings. So you will cut 1. You know how we only extended 1 arm? This time we're going to extend both and cut the string. So extend both arms to a full wingspan's length. Then add a few inches, like a little tail, onto the end and cut it. That is the first string that you need of orange. Now you know how you cut the green string with just extending 1 arm out. You will do the exact same thing. Just extend 1 arm, add a few inches, and cut. That's your orange string. And for the black string, you need to cut 3 strings a full wingspan's length. So like the first orange string we cut. So I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so now that you have all of your strings cut, you will put them together. So take out the 2 strings that are half of a wingspan's length and just put the rest of them all together. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So like you'll take one end and take another end of a string and put them together. And now that you have your 4 full wingspans length strings, you will take them and fold them in half. And then now take your half wingspan's length and see how there's a little loop. Just put those by the loop. So now you have your strings set up, like cut and ready to start your bracelet. I will show you what to do next. Okay, so I went ahead and just started off the bracelet so then it wasn't really confusing for anyone. To start off your bracelet, it really doesn't matter. You can do anything. I just did triangle ends. You can really do anything though. But the order to start your bracelet, the order of your strings should be black, orange, black, orange, black, orange, then black, green, then black, black. That's the order of your strings that you need them in. So, since this is an even amount of strings, we won't be taking any strings out until the next row. So, for a 1-2 pattern. And also, this is an intermediate bracelet, so I expect that you know all of the basic knots, so you will be able to make this. So, to take your first 2 strings out, you will do a forward-backward knot with the black onto the orange. And this whole row will be black knots. So take your next two and do a forward backward knot. And you'll just do that for the whole row because there should be a black string in front of every color. And then take your next two, forward, backward. And your last two, forward, backward. I really struggle with saying forward. I don't know why. Okay, now you have your first row done. You can kind of push your strings up, do whatever you want to fix it all up. And now we're on to the second row. So you'll take your left hand string that's on the very outer string and your right hand string that's the very outer string out, and you won't be tying any knots with them or onto them. So your next row will be only backward forward knots with the black string. So this one's a backward forward. Backward forward. Backward forward. And then your last two, backward forward. Okay. So you can kind of push that up. Now that we had our two outermost strings left out the last time, we'll bring them in this time. So for the third row, we will do a forward backward knot with the black string and put those strings to the side and take the next two, and now we're starting the pumpkin. So we will do a backward forward knot with the orange. And then you will take your next two and do a backward forward knot again with the orange. And your next two, we aren't going to do green knots quite yet, so a forward backward knot with the black string. And your last two should be a forward backward knot, or any knot because they are two strings of the same color. Whatever you want. And you can kind of push those together up however you want. And since last row we had used both the outermost strings, we will put them to the side and we won't use them. Now for your fourth row, you will do a forward backward knot with the orange string. Take your next two and do a forward backward knot. And then take your next two and do a forward backward knot. So a forward backward knot with the green string. So push your strings up, adjust them however you want, and we will move on to the fifth row. Since we left our two strings out last row, we will bring them in this time and do a forward backward knot with the, not with the orange string, with the black string. Then take your next two and do a backward forward knot with the orange. And take your next two, should be black and orange, and do a backward forward knot. And now take your green and black and do a backward forward knot. This is our last knot of the stem. So we won't use this green string anymore. Now do a forward backward knot with the, or any knot because they're two strings of the same color. So you can kind of push your strings up. You can already kind of see the pumpkin forming, which is pretty cool. But now we're going to take these two strings and put them to the side. We won't use them this row. And we will do a forward backward knot. This is starting the sixth row. Take your next two and do a forward backward knot. And then for this knot, you do a forward backward. And for your last two, you will do a backward forward. Like I said, we're done with the stem, so we won't be doing any more green knots. Now you can kind of just push your strings up and get them how you like them. And you will bring these 2 strings in, the 2 outermost strings, and to start off the 7th row you will do a forward backward knot. Next up you will do a backward forward knot. Our last row of orange strings, and then it'll just be black. So do a backward forward knot with the orange string. And take your next 2 and do a forward backward knot. And your last 2 can be any knot. I'm just going to do a forward backward knot. Now kind of just push your strings up, do whatever you want. And now for the 8th row we will leave these 2 outermost strings out, and we will only do backward forward knots with the black string. There are no colored knots this row. So backward forward, backward forward, and your last 2 backward forward. Now you can just push your strings up and we will start the 9th row. Bring your 2 outermost strings back in and do forward backward knot to start your row off. We will only be doing forward backward knots this row, but I'll walk you through it still. Next 2 forward backward. A forward backward for this group. A forward backward, and any knot you like. I'm just going to do a forward backward. Now you can kind of just push your strings, your knots up, and take the 2 outermost strings out and do a backward forward knot with the first 2 strings, and you will only be doing backward forward knots. Backward forward knot for the next 2. The next 2 will be a backward forward knot. Then your last 2 strings will be a backward forward knot. And that is the whole pattern gone through once. You can see your little pumpkin here. It's so cute. And I will see you whenever the bracelet is finished. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I hope this video, helped. I don't know, it's kind of hard to do these tutorials, but I hope you guys like them. And thank you for watching. Bye.